You know, when I see my country blessed with all the natural resources, and yet and still I see my people living in agile poverty, then I question myself, where have we gone wrong? Where, my people? I just wish I had the power to share the national cake, so everybody can have a taste. But Lord,
for all they say, we go to school. So no job for all, we get pregnant. Hustling in the screen and they get money beyond dual. They get what change. All they take your market. What they want to do now?
Well, I'm a graduate of the state-run university, and everywhere I have applied, they are asking me for 10 years experience, and that is impossible.
We the AFL them widows, the government promised us our husbands' benefits, and up to now we can't see it.
No good road, no good school. The health sector poor. Now anything that can jack a bottles. Then politicians stay giving us empty promises. What happened now?
Who the just? In fact, who rather lay in a complaint to? They will listen to all what they in power. After election time, people know how important. After election, when we talk, they say we are Muslim minority.
Yeah. They say the evil a man does live after him, but the good is often tear with his own. So let it be with Caesar. And what for Clipper? If for Clipper, my people tired suffering. We need a change. Listen, you're not need to tell me what's happy. I can see it in your eye, no something happy. I can see it. You're not talking, but your heart talking. Telling me you're hungry, you're not getting nothing. You're bold, you're can't afford. Some of your life more than dig hole and cover hole. Some of your lost you the civil war. Some of your breadwinners sitting home, government say no job. You're fed up with the hard living, just to survive. Some of your inner in the street baking. We call the people who's up to help you. Who you're voted for, look at how they turn their back on you. They lie. They're not finished with the poverty reduction strategy. They lie to your division 2030. So empty. So call it and give it. At the end, they defeat all of your impoverty. Calamity. I wish I was a millionaire. And someone there I know and right. Let me make it clear. Instead of joining politics, I will play horses. Get loans to the poor so they can pay taxes. Yeah.
Me kuli de jainu, me kuli de jainu. Wala wala na de no me kuli de jainu, me kuli de jainu.
You know what it mean? You get eye, you can't see. You get mob, you can't talk. Your folk can't even walk. Tell me, people hating you because you hear the cap. They go, why you got the man in the cap? Nobody in the community. What if I say they did for those with disability? Then come and say they reopen the school. You not see hungry people go to school. Instead of giving job to the jobless, hope to the hopeless, home to the homeless, they manipulate the system and make it worse. Now they come on make it even by the cup of rest. One man in more than 3 positions. They same thing they were against when they were opposition. You tell me what we leading to. So they think they got peace and justice, nothing for the poor. To be a money, they want you sell your soul. Either you cross the road or you bend down low. All I lie, I pray that my people rise. That one day God will show them all of them cry. Wallah,
Me kuli de jainu, me kuli de jainu.
You know, when I see my country blessed with all the natural resources, and yet and still I see my people living in agile poverty.
My people living in agile poverty. Ask myself, where have we gone wrong?
I just wish I had
Indeed,
the
where have we
power
gone
to share
wrong,
the
my people?
national cake, so everybody can have
National
a
cake.
taste.
for all they say, we go to school. So no job for all, we get pregnant. Hustling in the screen and they get money beyond dual. They get what change. All they take your market. What they want to do now?
Well, I'm a
Good afternoon, good evening to all of our amazing followers, wherever you are watching from. My name is Morrison, Dassin Jr., This is the Humanity Conversation, the fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest stories. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of July, 2025. And today we're going to drag you through our discussion point. We're going to talk about drugs and substance abuse.
After election time, people know how important. After election, when we talk, they say we are not a minority.
Yeah. They say the evil in man does live after him.
Yeah, it's about time that we stand against drugs. Let us all say no to drugs. Because our brothers out there damaging their life due to the bad substance they are taking in. So today we're going to talk about drugs and substance abuse.
I can see it in your eye, no something happy. I can see it. You're not talking, but your heart talking. Telling me you're hungry, you're not getting nothing.
I can see it while your heart talking. You can't get nothing. You're not getting nothing. You can't afford. Ego and cover hole.
You're fed up with the hard living. Just to survive some of your inner.
If you are just joining the live podcast, my name is Morrison, Dassin, Chea, and this is the Humanity Conversation, a fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest stories. Today we're going to join you through our discussion point to talk about drugs and substance abuse. Yeah. August 7, there will be a huge protest in Liberia. All of our mothers, our sisters, our brothers are standing against drugs. So be part of the protest August 7, a peaceful march, calling the government attention on drugs and substance abuse. Because drugs is on the increase, high increase in our country. So it's about time that we talk about these things. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about drugs and substance abuse. So I'm going to play you 1 minute of music, and then while we await our other panelists to join the conversation, so stay tuned with us. This is the Humanity Conversation, the fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest stories. It's about time to tell somebody that Humanity Conversation is here to hear your stories and then flag it out. We are 100% non-political platform. Our priority is human interest stories. So we go straight for what affects the common people back home. So if you just joining this conversation, my name is Morrison, Dassin, Chea, and welcome to the Humanity Conversation podcast, the fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening related to human interest stories. With our discussion point, we go around drugs and substance abuse. Yeah.
You know, when I see my country blessed with all the natural resources, and yet instead I see my people living in agile poverty, then I question myself, where have we gone wrong? I just wish I had the power to share the national cake.
You need to question yourself, why you see your brothers and sisters on the street with that kind of a bad condition? All the thing about is drugs. How can we put stop to drugs and substance abuse in our country like Liberia? So it's an open conversation from the Extended Hands Liberia family and the Humanity Conversation podcast. To our audience out there, we need everyone view on this discussion so that we can share this message out to our people out there, most especially our government, so that they can find remedies for this identical situation, because our brothers and sisters' lives are going in the drainage just like that, because there's no proper care, there's no proper way of stopping drugs for entering our country. So it's about time that we talk on these things. So if you just joining this conversation, please stay tuned with us. This is a conversation podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest stories.
But the goodest of team tear with his boom. So let it be with Caesar. And what for Clipper? If for Clipper, my people tired suffering. We need a change. Listen, You not need to tell me what's happy. I can see it in your eye, no something happy. I can see it. You're not talking, but your heart talking. Telling me you're hungry, you're not getting nothing. You're bold, you're can't afford. Some of your life more than dig hole and cover hole. Some of your lost you the civil war. Some of your breadwinners sitting home, government said no job. You're fed up with the hard living. Just to survive, some of your inner in the street baking. Because the people who's up to help you, who you're voted for, look at how they turn their back on you. They lie. They're not finished with the poverty reduction strategy. They lie to your division 2030.
Yeah, today is Wednesday, the 23rd of July 2025. And today's we're going to drill you through our edition. Stay tuned with us as we go through our discussing point, drugs and substance abuse in our country, Liberia. So today I've been joined by my dear brother Amadu, who are always there putting his time in to see how best we can make some impact in our country through our voices on this platform. So Amadu, welcome to the conversation, my dear brother.
It is great to be here again in this opportunity in the midweek. And we're here to discuss issues matters of our country, especially things that are affecting our society. Justice is a serious crime, and we need to stand against. So it's great to be here. Thanks to our followers who always waiting and following us. We ask that they share, they like our videos. That's the level of contribution to us as well. So it's great to be here. And I believe today will be a fascinating again.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother, for always taking your time to join the conversation. I really appreciate you. So, brother, there's the discussion point for today. We'll be discussing on drugs and substance. And there are a lot of things going on in our country. Our brothers, our sisters, life are going down the drainage just like that because of the substance that they are taking in. So, there's the topic. What's your saying on this topic on drugs and substance abuse? So we want to have an
Well,
open conversation that our followers following us can also contribute to this. In depth this
so
conversation, we would want to give our followers some information that probably some of them don't know about. Yeah. So people in our country, some of them don't really know what drugs really doing to the young people in Liberia. Yeah, and what's the increase of it in our country? Yeah. So, bro, can you imagine right now, per research in Liberia, out of 17% of student age 12 to 17 years using drugs such as marijuana, cocaine. There are a lot of substances that they are into. The percentage 17% from 12 to 17 years old. Amadu, you in Liberia, I think 11 Liberians lives here. And I've experienced these things. You see kids going to school, the young guys there, the young guys in our country, most especially youth nowadays, when they go into school, you see them, they will prefer buying the thing they call canyon. You see them, they will say, oh, I want to buy my canyon, I want to buy my milky. They call it milky. So you see, there are a lot of things that they are involving to go into school. They sitting in class, instructor teaching, they don't even care. They taking their candy, they taking their their this and that. Oh, so what's your saying on this identical situation? What are your own view when it comes to this identical discussion?
thank you again. So I'm gonna start on a note of way down the line. You know, drugs have been on an increase in our country since after the war. A lot of young people, even elderly one, have been affected. So the youth are the more major points. And there are many reasons why people get addicted to these things. We have to look at some of the reasons are not genuine. But then if you look at just addicts, we see them as a bad persons. We just see them like an enemy to us. We're not able to solve some of these problems. We gotta bring them closer. One of the key things is peer pressures from friends. For a practical example, there are a lot of kids out there saw that acquired drugs to a friend. Take acquired marijuana to a friend. Take acquired tramadol to a friend. And the friends that they take it away and use it, they go back for it and use it somehow. And maybe it make that thing anomalous. It reduces their stress. And I was doing a research, right, among the schoolboy kids, right? There's a drugs, or they call some part of Nigeria, I think it's called a KP drugs. The school going kids, many of them were asked the reason why they are taking some of those things. They said that they take these drugs to reduce their stress from the classroom. There are a lot of them say that when they go to class, they don't let how the teacher treat them, they don't let how the teacher respond to them. There are different ways people do these things. And they ever increase in our country because we are not yet see how best we can go back down the line on the foundations of what is happening. Those are taking drugs. We are only focusing in Liberia is to focus on the maybe I saw the guy in the street, the guy is taking drugs, he's taking that. You're getting angry with them on a daily basis, you call them names, right? But what are those ideas that we put together to go down the line to ask them questions? I will do some survey to ask them why are they taking you drugs for, right? I'm not here to defend anyone taking drugs. For me, I believe that if we want to solve problem, we should start solving the problem from where it begins from. We should start asking the questions, right? How will kids take drugs to go to class? We all are responsible for these things, right? If a kid tell you that I go to class, I take drugs because of the stress the teacher gave me, some teachers should serve as not only a parent, but it should serve as a teacher, a mentor, someone who can advise. If every day teacher go to class and take 2 minutes to discuss about drugs and use the rest of the time to discover that topic, we'll be happy to eradicate drugs in our places. But if the instructor goes to class, there are some schools in this country that the teacher and the student take marijuana. There are schools in this country happening, right? So, peer pressure is one of them. We have to know the friends our kids are with. The parent play a major role to us. We have to know the friends our kids are with. I learned something from Samuel. In one sense, when a child takes his first alcohol and comes home, when the parent does not complain, it means he gets the approval from the parents, right? For example, I went to class today. I came home drunk. My mother said, "Hey, Amadu, I tell you not to be drinking." Or my mother, my mother played. She make it look like what I did was good. Make my hot water, cook my food, take care of me, everything. My mother didn't ask me questions where I take the drugs from. Didn't ask me questions where I have to get drunk. My mother doesn't care. I go again the next day, get drunk. Yeah, how I come back home, my mother or father does not care about it. In that case, as a child, then your parents are approved that you should be a drunkard. Your parents are approved that you should be a drug addict. So some of these things start from down the line. If we go back down the line, we'll see what is going on there. What is the case? How a child be 13 years of age only see drugs as a means of like, it's funny. What kind of stress that child is going through? They are not paying their own fees. That child is not paying their own school fee. That child is not buying their own clothes. They're not feeling themselves. But that child is telling you taking drugs because they want to cancel subscription or nothing. So, as a parent, you play a major role too as well. The society play a major role, the parent play a major role. Because if the child is under your control and doing these things, you have nothing to advise them, you have nothing to advise them about the friends they around. If the child comes to you and complain about the school that this teacher is doing this, you don't even go. There are some parents that don't even care to go on the campus, right? So many things, so many reasons why the kids, right? The kids are taking drugs. But we are not here to ask them question. We only believe in implicating them as drug addicts, That's only implication in Liberia. We only good at making someone who is doing this to uplift it to be a bad. If that person is positive to his company, how many person will uplift it? That's our problem. So when we go down the line, know what is happening, know what is going on. Look, ask the basic questions. Why these kids are taking drugs? Then, if we know the reason why they are taking drugs, then we can go ahead, making sure to locate those places selling it, those people that are selling it, those friends they are with. Just from having some of these survey kids to answer the questions, and we as a parent, we as a society, The teacher will know where it's coming from. But Morrison, there are a lot of reasons. But for me, I believe that we should go down the line. We should know what is happening. I'm speaking from the statistics given. It is so sad to find kids in school who should only focus on studying. They are being responsible for everything. But 70% of them are on drugs. And this is not something to deny. Walk in the street, like you say in Labrador recent time. Walk in the street, just walk in the street of Moravia. Look at the kids that taking drugs. Most of the kids that you see small they banging on it, small banging on it. Yeah, yeah, got substance in there, different tablets. You don't have to be the cocaine and marijuana record, right? There are some tablets that is taken wrongly, that can make it basis, make it high. Kids are selling them. They call them pills. I got bills there. Go see the person that's selling the bills. I think 15 years old. Hey, selling bills. The question should be, what are we doing as a community? What are we doing as a society? What are we doing as a teacher in the classroom? What are
All
we
right. So
doing as
let
people?
me just ask you this. Let me just ask you this question, right? There's the flyers that are roaming on Facebook for August 7th peaceful march to stop destroying our tomorrow leaders. So I want to ask you this: during former President uh, government, President Weah signed the drugs law, and coming to President Bwaka regime, and now seeing these kind of things that are going on, which is the first of a kind. If I believe, if my memory can set me right, the first of a kind for this kind of a huge protest or peaceful march to ever take place in Liberia. So during President Weah time, he signed the drug law, and then there wasn't huge protests like the attention people calling right now for August 7 protests as compared to President Bwaka time. So what do you actually think the problem right now for Bwaka government, for President Bwaka government, pardon me? What is the problem right now?
All right, so Liberia issue has always been and will always be lacks of implementations, right? There are good laws on the book. The laws are on our book. If we go by them and be able to implement, we'll do well. Now, let's agree that trust law was signed. Now, people who sell drugs, nobody understands say drugs is non-billable anymore, right? Well,
Yeah.
when you call a drug seller, you can get a bill for them, put it out, which of course was good. We celebrated drugs is non-billable. But the question is, what are the implementations? What are we doing to stop the drugs from coming in? What are we doing to make sure the laws that are on the book will be respected? Who are those people? For Morrison, for me, I believe, right? I support it for the protest. I support it, but then I have a different mindset when it comes to fighting drugs in our country. If anyone's following this platform, you are so close to government, or you can share this, let the government know. The president of our country, I believe, there is one thing that your team can be on so strongly. I wish, of course, that some of it people saw because during president, we have to have drugs or something. Our parents cry and complain. Our parents cry and complain on the fact we're not doing nothing much to help to eradicate drugs from the country. So the people said, let him go. Let bring another person who might not be like young, energetic, but we believe that as an age he will for drugs. Before people in positions to maintain. Let the sector they call Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, that sector, it need total cleaning up. If we want to fight drugs, if the protesters going out there to ask questions, one of the things I told them to put into that petition that the LDA need total cleaning out. The LDA need a drug test. The entire LDA need a drug test because if those that are fighting the private are the reason for the problem will never be solved. Those that are responsible to carry on the law of our country. If there are same people responsible to defend those things, and they are part of the system that is getting us. I tell you no lie, you let it put there for now to judgment day, that waste of time, practical waste of time, practical waste of energy. Because why? If the system itself refuse to be cleaning up, we will be wasting our time. Who are we carrying our complaint to? The customer, who are we carrying a complaint to? We carry a complaint to the house of
Yeah,
the police.
the same LDA men will go in the ghetto, stay with these guys, smoke, and then when the team go in there to go arrest these guys, they get informer from the same DA that are giving information to the ghettos that the team coming to raid you guys, so you guys can leave that places. So tell me now, how are we going to eradicate drugs from our country? Why the people that are wearing the uniform, the people that are wearing the uniform that's supposed to stop these things, that's supposed to speak against these things, prosecute people for doing these things. They are the one encouraging these things because at the end they will go there, get that brown envelope for these guys that operate in the ghettos, get a brown envelope. So they don't care. But you're looking at it, some of them having a children home, that their children living good life, their children coming up good, but they encouraging other people on the children to go bad. You see how frustrating it is. So, like you said, before we can work on this identical drugs issue in our country, what our government need to do is President Baka need to do is try to checkmate these leaders that are spearheading various agencies like the LDA. Try to call their attention. Have a meeting with them every time. Ask them to come up with report on their officers because there are a lot of bad apples among these guys that are wearing this uniform. Some of them just wear the uniform. You see, when we're back home, within no time you'll see somebody standing to a specific junction and serving as a motorcyclist and here at the end you see them wearing DA uniform. Bro, what you trying to do? Supposed to rank and file to join the DA. Anybody can just walk up for anywhere and just go and join DA. Yeah, you see some of it. They get people that there. They get people. They get people that there that closer to some of the DA guys there. And so because of that, have a relationship with them. They won't even allow these guys to go for training. Instead, they will just give them uniform. So what are you expecting for that person? What are you actually expecting from them? Nothing. So the only means, the first thing that our president need to do is the LDA boss. Let him try to take back most of the sub stations that around our country. Call their attention. Yeah, call their attention. So sometimes the minute we just get up on the DA office, they say, oh, they're going raid. They're going raid in the name of going to go get things from the guys then. Let it go to go raid. They find material of the guys, then they take it from the serious time about witnesses in Carwell. They will go to put the men in jail. They put the drug addicts in jail. Then they be requesting for money for their parents to free them. It happens every time. It happens every time in our country. No passion. Some of these guys wear the uniform with no passion. They don't even put in their country first. You go, you stand, you take oath for your country. Then at the end, you don't even put in your country first. The only thing you care about is money. And the government too need to look into these things. If you equip your security, if you rather empower your security, you give your security receiving good salary. I don't think some of these things will happen, bro. But you get somebody there carrying $75, $80 US home per month. What you expect the person to do at the end, bro? What you expect the
That's the
person to do?
problem. So,
At the meeting right there, we will talk. But the meeting here, the government need to look into the security sectors. They're not only DA, but all the security sector, the government need to look into it. In the Western world, you see what they say, officers doing a duty, or the officer so tough to deal with. You think how it come about? The people are well paid. The person looking at what you get to give them that you ought to go bribe them with. Let's be honest. So the government need to look into these things to see how best they can well equip their security system. Try to pay these guys. You can get somebody working whole month, somebody working, you give them $80 US, $90 US. The person renting, the person have to feed a family, the medical bill. So tell me now, if that person go for arrest, what you expect from that, Amadu? What you expect from them?
so honestly, is one thing we can look at. But I want to go back to something when this government started, right? On a beautiful footsteps. Some of us, right? We are silent listeners. That be careful, some of we the silent listeners. We are silently celebrate government's progress. And when government go wrongs, we stay in our little corner. We don't talk about it. Even when they do the right thing, we still not talk about it because we are watching, right? So I think the president and some of the government officials, from the beginning of this process, they did drug tests. You know, politicians will do small and make it look very big. And we, the citizens, will go and run with it. Should I celebrate? Should I celebrate? Because someone go and stand and do a drug test, which I don't even know which hospital, which institutions, how compromised those institutions are. And they did a drug test, so I should celebrate. Is this drug test for holistics? These are questions we should be asking ourselves. Where are the results of the drug test? Are the drug tests stop? Did it go across every institution in our country? Because they said the first step we're going to do is don't tell me, don't tell me say you tested everyone in the security sector of the LDE go through a drug test, a proper drug test process. Now no one of them come out to be a fighter with drugs or be a drug addict. No one of them is following it because if there are people after the drug test and you feel that they are not qualified to be within the system, you root them out. Did it
Yes.
happen? What was done with the LDA was just a mere bluff. Now, oh, everybody going for drugs. And the sad thing about our country is in Liberia. If Liberia ready to move forward, is that believe that because I don't want to put the man in position when you run and criticize, we don't look in the faces of our own people and criticize. We don't look in the face of our own people and criticize. I will tell the organizers of the Uncle protest. I will support it from my house. The only way you see me go in the street to protest is the LDEA can do a holistic drug test. A holistic drug test. If the LDEA can start with themselves, they are not the right to fight drugs. But you can disturb the entire streets. Who told you say government official does not know that drugs is affecting the country? Who told you they don't know? Who told you say you need protest to tell them to bring it around? Who told you? Who told you not seeing people in the street every day? Young people walking days and walking sleeping, trust down. Now you see a young man, well energetic young man in Dompa with crazy man taking poo. You get me smell, no nose. Who told you say your leader is not seeing all of this? Who told you? But you know what? When you want to go protest because you wanted to protest for people to see you, then we're not going anywhere. If you go protest,
Bro,
not just to
that,
stay there, go there
why
and turn table, ask the question. If you not do this, we'll come back in the streets. The next time we not see this kind will come back in the street. La bro, yeah, this country really hard to talk.
yeah, like you just
Because at the
saying,
end of the day,
like you just saying, Amadu. I can remember doing Madam Eddie's regime before anybody join the security, like you want to be a police officer, they have to come in your community, do a background check unknown to you, know the
it used
kind
to
of
happen,
person
yes.
he is in your community, how you relate to people in your community, your records in your community. But nowadays, bro, it's not even happening. The police or Japan recruit out. So oh, the airport notice they're looking for they want people to go join police. And the end people apply. We have no background check. These thing guys that in the ghetto, some of them are well schooled can take the opportunity. They take advantage of this opportunity, go out there. Eh? Go out there, get the training, come back, wear the uniform. Then they go in the ghetto. Well, where are we heading to? Where are we heading to? What will always be deviating from something that's supposed to set as a precedent for our country to move our country forward? Will deviate from it and come to another thing. That system was very fun. That system was fun. Yeah, I can tell you, bro. The officers doing Mara Edis editor, these guys are well trained. They were well trained. They were well trained. Because there are people that live in the community unknown to
Yeah,
them. I
because,
was
yeah, because this time people giving people job in the security center with the mindset that they will pay you small money. But when you go there, just go in the street, you get money. Let me tell you a story, right? I have story. Let me just tell you about this place. I was sitting with this Ataisha in the 72nd community, right? Some part of it. And then there's a security guy who is maybe in the Santa. At that time, we were standing with Abraham. And he was telling his friend, my man, try for AB to put you into the system. When you put your system in the semi-second, immediately tell you, the whole side, all the ghetto will be under your control. Or all the ghetto under your control. When you go one time, you come back, you take it. I'm telling you, a security man, bro, I was drinking it after here, just holding it. I was sick in my body. I was so sick to the extent I said, wow, wow. See the vast immense gift to the friend. Then a friend that know me, I don't want to work for LTA. I want to work for I don't know. I want to get this other call. I want to get wear uniform. I play one food. I want to. I said, so the mindset already. Ah, God. Yeah.
Man already get a mindset that immediately join any security post, you just going out there to eat your own. Yeah. They
Sure.
may not even join the security, they may not even join the security post, they may not think about how many susuka you'll be having. So where the
Sure.
passion is.
Sure.
So where the passion is. So bro, that dive into the conversation a bit. So if you just joining, there's the Humanity Conversation, the fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest story. Today we're going to be discussing on the drugs and substance abuse. For our discussing point today, if you look on our screen, you will see drugs and substance abuse. This is our discussing point for today. So Amadu, what are the factors contributing to drugs abuse among young people in our country?
All right.
On your
So
understanding.
there are a lot of factors that, like somebody was asking me, it's trust is something that people don't know about. I think trust abuse is something everybody know about. Even my mother that said in the market in the spring, she was drug abusers because she sees to the house our kids behavior. One of the major factors is the government. Now, for me, I don't believe in people feeling that everything I get the government, the government, the government. I have a belief that the government responsible to give us an environment that we all can live peacefully, kind, in a way that we can interact with each other without too many harms. I agree with that because if the laws are on the books, one of the things, if the laws are on the book are implemented, one, if our borders, our weak borders have the best of security, and those security are not compromised. It's one of the things. If you look at because if the government can work in doing these things, right, making sure to strengthen their own sectors. For me, I'll keep believing in the LDA sector, our sectors. If they can strengthen their own sectors and go back and making sure that every borders in this country that just become true, they have the best of security. They will be arresting drugs on a daily basis. That's a beautiful thing they are doing. And if we can fight this drugs beginning with the security sector, there are people among them who are taking drugs. We should fight it from there. Allegedly, some of them are even involved into some of this trafficking. If you don't want to believe these things, it's something that is glaring. You have heard before that this police man is involved in this, this DA man is involved in this. So another thing is our community. One of the key problems is our community just everyone in our community. Our community, we are not, we no longer having that space that a community member will go and say, you say, it's selling drugs here, and be able to call security people, and the community member will be able to guard that person and make sure that person should be harmed by the guy. People are afraid. La person, the only colleague you see, is saying the community member, say, "Ain't rep here, I just the selling there." Community don't think, "Ain't rep here, I just the selling there." Even 5 years, still think, "I just the selling rep here." DA will go there. It will rain. You know what they'll carry? They will carry the taking with drugs. I give you 30 minutes to go return back in the community.
But and I
To
think
forget
that was
about the
saying
person
just
now.
now. And I think that was saying just
Yeah.
now. I said they will go there arrest if they arrest these guys, kill them, put them in jail, and then they be requesting for the 5,000, 6,000 for the parents to free them. So you doing these things like business. So how you very happy to reduce drugs in our country? And let's forget about the government side too. Bro, sometimes you see peer pressure. You see peer
Yeah, sure.
pressure
Peer
from
pressure
young
is
people. Let's be honest. Yeah. Peer pressure expose young people to drugs. You know, you not everybody can stand peer pressure, right? You understand that, right?
yeah, sure.
You friended with me through my influence, I can influence you to say, oh yeah, that do this, do this, do this. And that's where it starts from. And also you see the parental guardians, that one of the key things. Like you said, the parents will observe the children taking drugs. They will know that the child just started doing these things, and then they will play blind eye to it. Why? Why are you doing that?
No advice, no care.
No
When they're
advice,
taking the next thing that's drunk, they have order for the
no,
child to take. They tell them, maybe the
yeah.
parent are approved for that child to take.
So let's be honest. These things are frustrating. The parents themselves need to stand their ground. The parents themselves need to stand their ground. Like what you said, community engagement. The community need to stand up. If you notice that you haven't ghetto in the identical community, let the community people put themselves together, get rid of that ghetto from there. But you having people living in a community, then they affiliating themselves with the guys that in the ghetto and doing bad things at the end. They will say, oh yeah, why you steal in your community? It better you go out to go steal than for you to steal in your seriously. You get ghetto in the community, then when they see individual, then when they go smoke, no need to go out to steal. When they steal from them, when they catch them, they say, why you can't in your own community to steal instead you going in different community to steal? Why you trying to prove, Amadu? You don't encourage these things for you to happen more.
Definitely, I encourage me.
Eh? You don't encourage it for you
I
to happen
encourage
more.
me.
Yeah. So, bro, to be honest, our government very need to put things in place. And before the government even put things in place, the citizens themselves, bro, the community, the,
Just is going to increase in Liberia. It's not something to have. It is going to increase in Liberia. Young people that are they addicted to drugs right now are on the increase in Liberia. It's nothing to have. Anyone of us will not walk in the street more than tell them, asking somebody will observe that they're on drugs influence. It's very much difficult for us here. We will not walk in the street, we're asking somebody on drugs influence. Is something that is happening. It is something that is glaring. It's something that a friend will know that this person can be on drugs every day. Oh, that man is on pills. Why am I not being on pills by being in talk? Hey, my people, it's not something to celebrate because they make on pills. They make it talk. They begin on pills. They all going for that thing. Begin on pills to put it in the phone. Anything they be able to disturb. People are supporting it from different backgrounds. You should be the advisors to your friend. Your friend will take trust now enemies to you. I'm not saying you should avoid it 100%. For me, the truth can hurt. But then people who are addicted, addiction is something that's very hard to leave. To quit addictions is harder than getting into it. To get into it is easier. Like you said, peer pressure. No one person. Maybe, for example, I just walk one day, I go a bar, okay, on smoking. Not many children happen to that one. Many people, it was through our friends' encouragement that made us to take our first drugs. It was through our friends' influence that made us to take our first alcohol. It was through our friends' influence that made us to do our first bad thing. So, because of that, you look at you as a parents, right, in the community, you make sure you be able to advise the kids. Then, as a child coming up, know who to be a friend. And I'm still telling you that the guy who takes drugs are not an enemy. Well, you have to know how to go about doing it. If you see every day in the street, people die because, man, most of the crazy people in the country, way back when they say somebody people on the Oman food, the president was stealing, having the swelling, they get crazy. The young people getting crazy every day because of drugs it take. Some drugs it take. When you don't have the brain for it, when you spark, then like you're not going crazy right away or you die. I know a story, yeah, that a girl taking drugs. She didn't survive on the spot. The first day she took it, she was taking the marijuana and other stuff. The day she decided to upgrade, it was the day after her upgrading, is the same day she lost her life. And when she was rushed to the hospital, they were on check her, she died from that substance. I know a kid who in the country today is suffering from mental health problem because a friend took certain pills, a friend not behind him. Or to know that man's son is not a normal man, brother. The man a friend, right? The man took pills. And when they go to check on the man on pills, that guy took something and knocked it behind his friend here. Imagine that man on the child to do this thing for crazy man. Because A lot of men who so we say people going to school take son and naked behind the child. The parent of that child today, they had a child for the child to go to police station. No one know the way above that child. They protect that child. Well, that child not feeling helping somebody on the child sitting at the house. Now get sense the anymore. The way they picking not be a friend, we don't have that good medication set to be able to treat people for this part. So yeah, we can talk the talk. We can talk to the parents. We should talk to the kids too as well. We should talk to we the young people as well. Because if trust is something that is very good, you will see the men in the jumper living good life condition. The question you should be asking yourself, when you eat a sound mind, can you sit near the jumper and eat? When you eat a sound mind, can you jump crazy man in the jumper and be picking or something? No, no, you can do it. So not because someone tell you say let go and take drugs, you say okay, yeah, it's good, take drugs, clear stress. My brother, if you are a Christian, listen to the gospel, you get clear stress. If you are a Muslim, listen to the Quran, you get clear stress. Seriously, you don't have to take something to clear stress.
Yeah, before we move to the next thing on drugs and substance abuse, let's discuss the August 7 peaceful march. Let's discuss the August 7 peaceful march. Yeah, yeah, because going on the
It is the
internet,
biggest.
every time I will see a lot of posts from people sharing, tagging, oh, August 7, we need to come out, August 7, we need to come out, we need to come out. All right. So I want to use this medium to tell all of our followers, our members from extended hands like Liberia, family from the Humanity Conversation podcast. It is about time that we join this struggle. It is about time that we join the peaceful march, August 7. August 7th is about time every one of us turn up in numbers to call the attention of our leaders to see how best they can put all mechanisms in place to reduce some of these things. We know that it will be difficult to eradicate it from our country completely, but we want to call their attention so that they can find solution to minimize these things. So we are calling on our members, our well-meaning Liberians, all of our followers to turn up August 7 to turn up in Liberia to go and march, calling our government attention, calling United Nations attention, calling other stakeholders attention to see how best we can minimize drugs and substance abuse in our country. So Amadu, what you got to say on August 7 protests where we have seen a lot of flyers and a lot of women group organizing themselves to march on August 7, requesting the government to minimize drugs and substance abuse in Liberia. What's your anticipation towards this identical march on August 7? What are you expecting to come out of it right after August 7 or right after the march? The people will everybody will just go to their various horses, and at the end, you see the same old thing keep increasing. What's your anticipation when it comes to this August 7 peaceful march?
Well, as one young person who believe in anything that is negatively affecting the young people, it should be things that we all should stand against. It should be a struggle that we all should fight against. So I first let us say things to those that have the thought of organizing such protests, talking about stop drug trafficking, stop drugs, destroying our future leader. It's good. It is a good thing. And I pray that the organizing thing but of no political influence. When politicians enter their base, they become so big. Young people, right? Say what's society group. But for me, society group is already there in Liberia. So I don't know the time. But the organizers, every young organization, every institution that have been fighting for this just stuff, this is the time now you come out in the numbers. This is not the politician going around telling you level. I want to see a protest where young people, young people will trade all in that number of our political influence. If the day Liberia decides to trade all in that number again any cause in this country, our political influence, it is the day our leader will get serious. You know our leader are not serious? It's because they think they criticize, they know that police will criticize later. So when they come to power, they make all the fun. If the day this protest if there's no protest because the biggest protest in Liberia history, I want this protest to be the biggest protest in Liberia history. I want this protest should not be a protest of the internet. I'm appealing to the organizers. Get in car. I know there's no resources, but the little resources you have, join motorbike riders. Let do a parade like on a car. Let do a kind of way to create people, the kind of announcements, the kind of momentum around this protest. Go in the car, go in the street, go and discuss it. Maybe you can reach to Lone Star, Orange, then scrap deal with them. I know the organizers know that anything you do, you gotta start with something. Go to them, they see where they can send regular messages for people, regular messages for drugs abuse, inviting people. Let's go in our numbers, let's train up. Let if you just do that thing on the internet, my brother, you now have the kind of regular protest you want to have. Not everybody online, not everybody on the internet. You got no most of the organizers of this protest are all content creators. They are bent online, creating contests around, making sure they go in the ghetto, few just leaders, making sure they have a recreation center, change them, and begin to be a better person in society, creating content for it. And people helping them with that. But I want them to go in the community. What I anticipate people going out in numbers. I anticipate young people supporting this. I anticipate people that in government, working in government, who believe that drugs is affecting their country. They should run on a various social media page supporting this protest, or it will not happen. Sadly, it will not happen. The reason it will not happen, the man is in position in a prayer. Who told you that the president is happy for politicians? So if you are a minister, if you are a director, if you are a civil servant, if you go and talk about drugs abuse in our country and support the protest, you lost a job. I don't think so. Mr. President, that I respect Allah will never sign any official of government, any official
Okay,
of
Amadu,
government because
let me hold you there. Let me hold you there. You're talking about official of government. I've seen pictures on Facebook, seeing some lawmaker giving a support to the August 7 peaceful march, wearing t-shirts saying "Say no to drugs." So, what are they actually trying to do? Are they trying to score political grade on the citizens of Liberia, or what they are doing is actually coming from their heart? What do you think of that?
now I'm not against them. I already campaigning that they should be able to support the protest, right? But then there are one group that when they supporting that protest, I don't want to see them. That group is the lawmakers. I'm not against they saying I support it. But if the lawmaker go and stay among us and protest, it will be like that's fun, right? It is fun because we are coming to you to give our petition to you. You should be the one making fun of us. If you know that drugs is something that affecting our country, where's the last time you debate on the floor of the legislature about drugs abuse in our country and stuff? When is the last time you propose a document asking the legislature to be able to fight this virus that affecting our people called drugs? As a legislators, never go among us to protest because it makes no sense. Support us, support the protest, but don't go and hold placard to protest. It makes no sense because you are a direct representation of us, and every one of us are attending that protest. You are a direct representation of us. You have been that single voice, be able to talk about 65,000 people in your district, 30,000 people in your district. What have you been doing? Have you just been running after the various department and other stuff? That's the reason for me. I can listen to reading like video. So when it comes to that thing, I know what is happening. So if they're supporting you, they're not supporting
There's
you. I
another
don't
thing.
know about it.
There's
But
there's another question again, Amadu. President Joseph Newman Boaka, right? President Boaka, President Boaka has declared drugs a national health crisis and called for a comprehensive approach to address the issue. What you gotta say about that? Coming
when
from the
when
president,
when that when it came out, it been a
2025.
long time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The kind
Yes.
of taking the kind of taking the drug test, right? All
Yeah.
right.
So
So
what you gotta say about that?
our people, everything about our country is to school and the political goals, right? For me, it's good. That was some very fine ideas. How the government has been working to tackle the drug issue, like question I asked. The last time I saw posters with captions say no to drugs, LDA, flyers attached to it, different communities in different streets. Mostly in Mozzarella, not even also Mozzarella. But people think Mozzarella just be that. And I saw it, I told one of my friends, I said, I always say to people, I said, for me, I believe that these things are not practical way of solving this problem. I believe that if the government is going to this community, traumatize it, tell the people, educate the people, higher organizations are already volunteering their services into fighting drugs. For small money even, and to go to the community, be a messenger of drugs. Tell the people that drugs is bad, drugs can kill. If the layman down there go and put it in all the data in Liberia, put it in the terror, put it in the crew, put it in Bani, put it in every trap in our country, encouraging people that drugs is bad, then I will see a holistic part against drugs. But you plenty flyer, all these flyers, then sometimes you spend 1,000 US on one baby. And 1,000 you give to some organization. You go out there, go in the trenches, go in the community, encourage people, tell them to stop drugs. If we can do that, if the government can do that, if the government can do this, the government writing a paper, putting it on the internet is one thing. Writing a paper that your people can defend. So when you were there, that you were this can really help more like brave people, right? When you were there, when you were there. When you were there, it's
All
still
right,
the more the citizens.
Amadu, there is another thing again. According to the stores, the government initiated programs like social economic empowerment of disadvantaged youth project to help young people get off drugs. Have you ever come across such a program, or have you ever heard such a program taking place in Liberia?
So for me, to be frank, right, honestly speaking, I don't really follow religiously or anything that relates to government to me. Because I'm disappointed and frustrated ever since like your government officials. But I follow quietly and I see things. Don't get me wrong. I don't know anywhere in Liberia where it is ruled by government. I only hear things about it on trying to be era. Have you seen it? I've been fun go across the government programs in my community or in the street where I see people train up discussing about programs, about drugs and how to empower young people to see some of those. I have not seen them. Maybe it is happening. Now there's government tricks. There's every politician government tricks, right? I was one that content. It's funny but it's serious. Government will come to this school and come to say they get past scholarship. And then they go back between you and the people you give the scholarship, they say five, or maybe say 10,000 scholarships. You understanding it, right? Now, the problem wrong with the 10,000. Do you know that 10,000, even 5% will not get a scholarship? It already happens, right? Yeah, let's work on our brother first. So
Uh,
it's happening every time.
yeah, Amadu, the major hold there. I think we have our guest from the criminal justice, and he's no one else but George Hammer. George Hammer, I think your end is kind of a dark, so I think
Yeah,
you have
back
to
it back.
change your location,
Yes.
or you try to find a better place that our
Yeah, I'm
audience can
trying
see.
to my camera. I'm trying to get it set. Uh, that's a problem. I
Yeah, please try to adjust yourself,
want
and
to
then I'll
switch it.
try to adjust yourself, and then I'll bring you back on.
All right.
Yeah, you got a light in the room, you put the light on.
Yeah, so Amadou, I think
That's
we
our
will
thing,
play
right?
1 minute. We'll play 1 minute of our theme song. We'll play 1 minute of our theme song, and
Okay,
then
that is
when we come back, we'll welcome our guests, and then we'll move straight to the next discussion in which we'll get recommendation from ourselves to our government to see how best we can help reduce drugs in our country, drugs and substance abuse in our country. So stay tuned with us as we go through
Our husbands
1 minute
benefits and
musical
up to
break with
now we
our
just
team
No
song.
create.
good road, no good school. The health sector poor. Now why anything that can just carry bottles? Then politicians stay giving us empty promises. What happened now?
Who to just, in fact, who rather lay in a complaint to? They will listen to all what they empower. Now, the election time, make people know how important. After election, when we talk, they say we are Muslim minority.
Yeah. They say the evil in man does live after him, but the good is often tear with his boom. So let it be with Caesar. And why for glipper? If for glipper, my people tired suffering. We need a change. Listen. You not need to tell me what's happy. I can see it in your eye, no something happy. I can see it. You're not talking, but your heart talking. Telling me you're hungry, you're not getting nothing. You're bold, you can't afford. Some of your life more than dig hole and cover hole. Some of your lost you the civil war. Some of your breadwinners sitting home, government say no job. You're fed up with the hard living. Just to survive, some of your inner in the street baking. We call the people who's up to help you. Who you voted for? Look at how they turn their back on you. They lie. They're not finished with the poverty reduction strategy. They lie to your division 2030. So empty. So Kale and give it. At the end, they defeat all of your poverty. Calamity. I wish I was a millionaire. And someone there I know and right. Let me make it clear. Instead of joining politics, I will.
All right. If you are just joining, this is the Humanity Conversation, the fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest story. My name is Morrison, Dassin Jr. Pretty seated here with my colleagues Amadu as Morris back home in Liberia. So Amadu, we back again. I think our guest finding some difficulty to join us, so we will continue the conversation, and then when he joins us, we're gonna bring him on so that we can end the conversation with him. So Amadu, let's talk about some of the recommendation that we can put forth on our platform, right? On our
Okay, sure.
platform so that people listening to all others that will come across this live video right after we finish can take some of this recommendation, or other stakeholders that will watch this video can look into some of this recommendation. So what are your recommendations when it comes to the drugs and substance abuse for our country like Liberia? What are some of your recommendations?
So we can talk the talk, but recommendations are very much important. I will start with the classroom. Say for me, I'm a classroom teacher. I recommend that the fact okay, needs video to audios. So the fight against drugs abuse and substance abuse, you have to start with the classroom. The teacher, I want instructor every day you go to class. You use 2 minutes of the time, only 1 minute of the time to encourage your students, to talk to them, to make them to know that this drug stuff is something that is affecting them. It's something that could destroy them. Because let's say you find one of the potential students in the classroom answering the questions, making grades in the test, and one day you go in the street as a teacher, you saw him on drugs. How will you feel? So I recommend that this just thing should start from the classroom. To the parents, to our parents, for those that are training people, children, even if you are not the one born them, be able to check on them, know that daily activities, ask them questions, bring them close. I remember first when come from school, oh man, hall and see me more to make sure, right? So now I'm out there, I'm not saying talk to, talk the two. So you'll be able to talk the two, right? So our parents too should start with that, right? The parents should be able to advise their kids, talk to their kids, making sure that your children.
Uncle,
I think our guest trying to join us through audio. Mr. Hammer,
No problem.
yeah, so
hello.
I am so sorry. I can be, yes. Hello, I am so sorry. I can be on camera right now because I facing challenge in setting the camera. I want to set it at the front, but it's already set on the back. So I don't know. It's on back camera. So I want you guys to bear with me that I be on like this. Is it okay?
All right, no problem, no
Okay.
problem, no problem, no problem. So, Mr. Hammer, welcome to the conversation. This is the Humanity Conversation, a fascinating podcast that brings you all the happening relating to human interest story. We are glad to have you on our podcast as our guest for today. So today we've been talking on drugs and substance abuse, who serve as our discussion point for today. So will you mind introducing yourself to our audience? Oh, we lost our guest again. So Amadou, you are saying something, huh?
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, the teacher play a major role. I want you to go to the classroom every day, take 2 minutes of the time, talk to your students to avoid drugs. tell them the basa, tell them how we fed them, because you are a role model in the class. As a teacher, you know, if you find one of your brightest students out there in drugs, you feel bad. So our parents too as well. Our parents should be able to guide our brothers and sisters, making sure to monitor the activities to know what is going
All
on.
right.
You know, ask them questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have been joined by our guest again. So, Mr. Hammer, welcome again. I'll asking you
Yes,
if you
thank you.
if you can introduce yourself to our audience, please.
All right, I am George Hammond. I am a student of criminal justice, to be specific, law enforcement at the AME Zion University. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Hammer. Thank you for joining the conversation. So today our discussing point centered around drugs and substance abuse in Liberia, and you from the criminal justice background. So this is our discussion point. What's your saying when it comes to drugs and substance abuse in our country, Liberia?
Thank you so much. Well, drugs and substance, we look at it in two dimensions. Uh, or we will say three areas. We look at it from uh, the legal perspective, which have to do with the criminal justice area. There are laws that are being put in place to regulate drugs. And then we also look at it from the social perspective, where people use drugs to cope with social issues, for social pleasures, and other things like that regarding social issues. And then we look at it from the I would call that medical perspective as well, because the medical practitioners also have something to do with drugs issues, because drugs affect people medically. If you take drugs, if you're taking drugs, you have some medical issues that it will cause for you, and those medical practitioners get involved. So I just want to throw light on this area, discussing specifically for the area of the criminal justice. But
Okay.
before I can proceed from the area of the criminal justice, have been in a class, in drugs abuse class, and the question was asked by my instructor that if you are resolving drugs issue, which method do you want? We should a medical approach. Which approach? Should it be social approach? Should it be legal approach, or should it be medical approach to solve drugs issues? So that question, I think from here I will answer that question, and even you yourself, you will be able to give your views, because if we are solving drugs issue, we should have an approach. So drugs abuse is normally the illegal use of illicit substances. People only take that to be these drugs, narcotics, substances, and people see it to be the cocaine, opiums, and other things that they take in. But drugs abuse is beyond. It's beyond that. You can even abuse some drugs that were purposely made for medication, right? So there are other drugs that are made for medication, particular medications, but people misuse them, and that's drugs abuse as well. So the issue of addressing drugs issues in Liberia and in the world, as a criminal justice student, I would say we can use the criminal justice approach, but am I only defending my area, my field of studies, because I'm in the criminal justice area? But which approach can effectively solve the problem? Because the criminal justice approach is only telling you that we put in place laws and orders, that there's nobody should come in with illegal substances. If you come in with illegal substance, we grab you, will take you to jail. You will have to go and get penalized. Will take you to jail. You go through court process. Will take you to court processes, and then you are guilty. You go to jail, and then after you serve your sentence, you may come back. That's what criminal justice say. Now they have something they call rehabilitation. So criminal justice also say you should be rehabilitated. Now, in the process of rehabilitation, who does the rehabilitation? The law will not be able to do that. Criminal justice practitioners will not be able to do that. They need medical practitioners. They need people that are experts in drugs. They are experts in drugs that will be able to give treatments. That's why the criminal justice practitioner will be able to identify the drugs and see that you are using illegal drugs. And even if you hadn't, he will be able to identify and know that this is a substance that's being abused, but you will not be able to treat it. So the medical standpoints is where we say, okay, we're not using the law. We consider these people as victims. We consider them as victims. We say we're supposed to treat them. We say they are sick. Those that are using drugs, they are abusing drugs, they are sick, they are not well. Let's consider them as patients instead of criminals. Instead of criminals, let's consider them as patients. That's what the medical practitioners will be thinking about, because for them, they don't think that you're a criminal. They don't think that you are violating the rules. They think about your well-being. They're not thinking that you violated the law, you went against the law, you came in conflict with the law. They say you are not well, you are not feeling good, and they have to treat you. So that approach will only seek to treat the victims and make sure that the victims are treated so that they become normal again, so that they be infused in society, so that they be able to make their normal and positive contribution in society again. Instead of
All right.
the criminal justice approach that will seek to punish them. Yeah. So you saying something?
Yeah, Mr. Hammer.
Yes.
Mr. Hammer. Okay.
Yeah.
Being a student from the criminal justice end, and then knowing
Yeah.
that 17% of students aged 12 to 17 years reported using drugs. What are the approach from the criminal justice end you guys can use to minimize or tackle some of these issues to reduce this identical percentage? Why is your saying on that?
Thank you. So the use of drugs in school, like I said, first there's an approach already. There's an approach. The law, the drugs law. The drugs law have been enforced in Liberia. We have the LDEA, the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, that is responsible for to enforce drugs law in Liberia, drugs related law. So that entity is charged with the jurisdiction to regulate everyone that is using illegal substances. And drugs have been from the criminal justice setting to make it very serious that people will not use drugs easily in schools, high school kids and other school kids. They have made drugs a non-bailable offense. So if drugs is a non-bailable offense, it means it's a serious offense that you will not just be released on bail if you are being held in custody for drugs related matters. You will not just they will not just go and bail you out. So that's how serious it is from the criminal justice perspective. Like I said, criminal justice will put in place laws to punish those that are being guilty of using or handling illegal substances like drugs. That's why criminal justice, that's the measures we put in place. Now, another thing we do is we do awareness. we do awareness. Even the drugs enforcement agency, they have programs, because you don't just go after them as law enforcer, you just enforce the law, but you also teach them, educate. So they have programs that they provide education on drugs issues. They provide education on drugs issues. That is reasoning. So the reason that there are some people, they have other issues that will make them to take in drugs. So these issues, we have to talk about it so that they can be influenced by these issues to take in these substances. But clearly, the measures that criminal justice put in place is the law. That's the law. That's only the law. So
Okay, so
we use the law. We use the law to protect the country against drugs. That's all. Yeah.
so this will be my last question for my end. Probably my colleagues have questions to ask you. We noticed that the same officers from the LDEA are always involved in the act of going to ghettos, joining these guys to smoke. So what if these guys are caught in the act? What are punishment per the criminal justice end that you can tell our audience? What are punishment that can be placed on these officers that will form in that identical act? What are punishment that can be done to them?
Well, that's great. But let's say that is an allegation to say a drugs enforcement officer will go and smoke in the ghetto with with those drugs addicts. We consider that an allegation. A trained drugs enforcement officer in Liberia will not do that. A trained drugs enforcement officer will want some of these addicts to serve as informant. There's something we call informant in criminal justice, even in security area. We call it informant. The police need informant. So informant are people who give you information. So as drugs enforcement officer or law enforcement officer, you don't shy away from those that you consider to be criminals. You have to be immerse them to some extent to get information. To some extent to get information. So maybe in cases like of such, you have these people on their duty to get information from some informants. But the fact that they have been there and more just addicts, people will see that people will just insinuate or have that kind of misconception that they are a part of them, they are taking in drugs.
So
That's part individually, people individually, or others may be included in that. That one is different because individually people are different. But professionally, a law enforcement officer should be able to go in ghettos and talk with these people. Yes, he should be able to do that because he have to. Even before you raid the ghetto, you have to conduct survey. You have to do a lot of things before you raid. You have to get information, certain information. So these people, they go there to conduct surveillance. They go there to conduct surveillance and to get information before they do some things to know how to tackle the drug issues in the country.
Okay, my next question before I turn the mic over to my colleague: what is the main criminal justice approach for dealing with juvenile drugs use? You getting me?
You keep talking about the main criminal justice approach.
Yeah.
The only approach we have is we have the law. That's the first thing. The first step, the law. The law says that you are not allowed to possess
Dealing with
illegal
juvenile, that's what
drugs.
I'm asking you.
So if you are in possession of that,
Dealing with juvenile, that's what I'm asking you.
nobody is allowed to possess illegal drugs. You getting me? Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Yes. So the first step is the law. The law prohibits a person possessing illegal substance. So if a person is caught or found guilty of possessing illegal substance, that person will have to serve a sentence. So they have to serve a punishment. So if that punishment is a sentence, they will have to serve a sentence. They will have to serve a sentence. If at all that person through that sentence, they are being discovered, rehabilitation. So that one is a part of the correction where we call that correction. Where we do the punishment, we call that corrections. That is somebody came in conflict with the law. We call that they came in conflict with the law and they have to be corrected. That is, you made an error or you made a mistake, or one way or the other, you came in conflict with the law, you have to be corrected. So at the correctional facility, there's rehabilitation. So those people that are there, they rehabilitate them. But specifically those drugs, people, they have other drugs areas, rehabilitation centers that they send them for rehabilitation. They have other private rehabilitation centers that the government, if the government can deal with them, the drugs issue, they send them to these private rehabilitation centers to rehabilitate them. And then the government will have its own rehabilitation centers specifically for drugs. So that's the criminal justice approach.
Thank you so much. Turn the mic over to my colleagues. Probably you have one or two questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hammer. Amadu, and you're following through audio, so as they are called my name below. It's great to have you here this evening. You talk about a three approach. You talk about the medical approach. You talk about the criminal justice approach. Can you expand on the social approach?
Okay. So with the social approach, that is we consider everyone as a family. Now, when we are approaching things socially, we approach it from the family background. The first control, when we do criminal justice history, we notice that before the coming of laws, people were being regulated. How were they regulated? They're regulated by their families. They're regulated by churches. They're regulated by the mosques. So one way or the other, you will find yourself in some kind of gathering. You must find yourself in some kind of gathering, like what we're doing today. We are in a kind of gathering, right? So you have a kind of organization, and the organization guy has. So from that organization should be responsible to make sure that they disseminate the information to their members that taking in illegal substances is prohibited. And this is the harm that it will cause. Now, parents in their homes also telling their kids, that's the social approach, also telling their kids. Families in family meeting also telling their family members. So that's a form of laws that help to regulate that. That's another form of law that existed before the written law. That was a way people control issues. That was a way people used to have a social control system for time back. So if you are a member of a church and you have a pastor, you listen mostly to the pastor. So you notice that people who attend a church that the pastor is this way, whatever he says, the members believe in him because he's the pastor. So whatever way he breathes them, they're going to come up that way. So it is the responsibility of that pastor now to bring them up in the way that they will go. So the social approach is where the pastor now has the responsibility to make sure that his members, he tells them about drugs, that they are not using drugs illegally, that they are not abusing drugs. So that's his responsibility. The head of the family, the father, has that responsibility as well. If you have a business, your employee, all your employees, you have that responsibility. That's the social responsibility. That's what it takes when I say the social approach. That's a social approach to addressing drugs issues.
Thank you. Quickly, as time is running up, Upper 7 is noticed to be, or some group of people are organizing, say no to drugs campaign. What is the state? What is the advice of those people that will be going in the street there? And what advice can you give them to take? Do you endorse it as well?
Yeah, so I endorse that. Because it is permitted. You know, sometimes when you try to address drugs issues on a diplomatic basis, it becomes a serious problem. It becomes a serious problem. But the only thing I am saying is that it is almost like a form of pretense from these people who want to go in the street on August 7. It's a kind of showmanship, right? So we could just create a network and say, let everybody be an ambassador, let everybody be an alarm in the community. Those people who going out the serving, before the serving, they have seen several people in the community using drugs. They are seeing ghettos in the communities. So I don't know, what are they intending to achieve on the serving? Is it that they just want to march? I don't know the intent. Is it that they just want to march the principal street and say no to drugs, say no to drugs? It's not going to solve anything. So if I was to contribute to the idea, I would say, let them go in the communities. Let them go in the communities and make sure the grouping goes from ghetto to ghetto, and make sure that those community leaders group themselves and go from ghetto to ghetto and make sure that there should be nobody in these ghettos. They tell the people, drive them away. They drive them away. And then they have numbers, they get the numbers of those people that are responsible for drugs and call. Anytime they see those people gathering again, they call them and they come for them. Let the community be the watchdog. Let the community dwellers be the watchdog to help. So it's not about having massive campaign to gain attention. It's good, but these are approaches. I think the kind of approach that you can use to the community members to report this system and destroy this area that people using for drugs it will be very good. That is a good approach. That's my own advice for the gathering. I will be a part of the gathering as well, because
all right, Mr. Hamad.
I'm against drugs. Yes, I'll be a part of the gathering.
All right, Mr. Hamad. Thank you so much for coming in with few info relating to the criminal justice and on the drugs and substance abuse. We are running out of time. You joined the conversation late, and we'll be hoping to have you on our podcast to go in depth on the criminal justice, and so that people in our country can know what are things that criminal justice students involved into, and what are their impact when it comes to society. So we will quickly take recommendation for you. Let's say 1 minute recommendation for you if you have one, and then we get your parting comment, and then we try to call it a day for today's edition, because we are running out of time. We're having roughly 3 more minutes to end this conversation. So Amadu, yeah, where we are, bro. So Mr. Hammond, I want to ask you, what could be your recommendation to the Liberian government when it comes to minimizing or eradicating drugs and substance abuse in Liberia?
All right, so thank you. My recommendation firstly is that to minimize substance abuse, you have to minimize the number of hierarchies that embrace substance abuse. You got that. So if you have a good number of hierarchies in government, a good number of hierarchies that are potential individuals in the country embracing drugs, it means it will be hard for it to get minimized. It'll be very hard. So the first thing is to make sure that there's no, the other time the president talked about drug tests, that he was doing drug tests. I don't know how far he went, but if these things are being done, it will help to reduce, because we have to start from the top. Because everybody, the people at the bottom, they just, in fact, most of them, they're not really, they're just getting the least of the drugs. Maybe if they take the good ones off, the least ones, they just drop down to them, and then they take it almost like the peanut. That's what they're taking. So if you have these hurricanes and other potential people abusing drugs as well. Not because they're eating good food and they're looking healthy. People can be abusing drugs. There are drug addicts that can look like professional person. They be fat. They be looking healthy. Yes, because they having the food. Only those that are not having the food to be able to sustain themselves, they will have that kind of feedback and that facial expressions and the effect you will see clearly from them. So that's one thing the government needs to make sure that there's no government official that is abusing drugs or importing drugs or in any way supporting the import of drugs or the abuse of drugs. The next thing is that the law enforcement officers needs to be trained properly. They need to be trained and they need to be professional people. They don't need to be people that drugs addicts will see and still be standing to defend themselves. They should be people that drugs addicts will fear. How do drugs addicts fear them? Because if they are trained, if they are professional, like you said, although that was an allegation, but if they are taking in drugs also, nobody will respect them. Even drugs
All
addicts
right.
will
So
not respect them,
Thank
and they will
you.
not be able to fight
yeah.
drugs because they're taking in drugs. You can't fight what you are taking. Yes, so let them put stop to that. And the last point is that the recruitment they are making, even the recruitment they are making for these officers, they should go to law enforcement institutions. Yes, those people that already did these things, they know about drugs, they know about criminal justice matter and how to approach security issues. You can recruit them, but don't just recruit people so they can get to these universities and people in those fields. They recruit them as well. Yes, those are my
all right.
recommendations.
All right. Thank you so much, my dear brother. Thank you so much. We hope that this recommendation can reach out to our stakeholders who will come across this video to take it into consideration and try to work on it. So, Amadu, I would like to get your parting comments so that we can draw the curtain for today's edition because we are running out of time. We've already entered into our time. We've gone 1 hour 2 minutes, so we just want to get your parting comment, and then we'll be hoping to get Mr. Hammond back on our conversation to go in depth, like I said, through the criminal justice end. So, Amadou.
Well, thanks to Mr. Hammond for just coming in. Well, let's discuss it on the floor and then
Okay, we're facing it difficult to get Amadou. So, Mr. Hammond, you can just give your part. Sort of.
All right. So thank you for having me on the show today, and I am urging Malabrian people to stay away from illegal drugs and the abuse of drugs. It's not going to cause only social harm, it's also going to cause medical harm for you, and it's going to cause a problem that you'll be labeled as a criminal. Anyone who use illegal drugs and abuse drugs is a criminal if they are found guilty. So we want you to stay away from that, stay away from crimes, and fight against drugs in your own community. If you see anything there, you have to report it to the right authority so that they can take action. Don't stand and watch your country drown. So I urge the government as well to put in place strong policy to fight against drugs. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and I'm prepared anytime to appear when you need me.
All right. Thank you so much, my dear brother, Mr. George Hammer from the Criminal Justice,
Thank you.
the AMEZ University. Thank you so much for joining us, bro. Okay, that's how we level of our guests for today. Even though our guests joined our conversation lately, you guys heard some of the key things that he scratched on. So we're hoping that our government or other stakeholders can look into this and take his recommendation that he put forth so that we can make Mama Liberia to be better, because only us can make Liberia to be better. Nobody else can make Liberia better. For the sake of us that can make Liberia better. So thank you so much, my dear brother. If you just joining this conversation, my name is Morrison Dassin Jr. and this is how we come to our end for today's edition of the Humanity Conversation. So for today, our discussion point was drugs and substance abuse, and we were joined by our guest, Mr. Hammer, from the Criminal Justice Students End. So thank you so much. If you just joining, this is how we close off the curtain for today's edition. We're hoping to come tomorrow or any other day to discuss on drugs abuse and let our people know what are some of the things that we can do to minimize or eradicate drugs. That's how I say back to you with our things.
That's one day, but we show they get all up and cry. Wallah, when they we could eat it, we could eat it, wallah, when they we could eat it, we could eat it.
You know, when I see my country blessed with all the natural resources, and yet and still I see my people living in abject poverty, then I question myself, where have we gone wrong? I just wish I had the power.
Let's say no to drugs. Let's say no to drugs. Let's say no to drugs. And move out August 7th. Everybody should come out August 7th and have a peaceful march to call the attention of our government and other stakeholders or other partnering countries so that our voices can be heard and see how best our government can minimize drugs and substance abuse in our country. Our mothers, our sisters, our brothers will be out on August 7th, calling the attention of our government to minimize or eradicate drugs in our country. So we are urging everyone to please join the movement on August 7th. Everybody go out on August 7th. You have influential people like Coffee with Jojo and other well, meaning like Beeman or other well and like women strong advocates. I'll be out there speaking on ills that are affecting our people about drugs issues. So please move out on August 7th. We are making all of our followers, our members to go out on August 7th, wear your t-shirt, march on August 7th, because you are not doing this for you. You are doing this for your brother. You are doing this for your sister. You are doing this for your unborn child. So move out on August 7th to see how best we can call the attention of our government and see then putting stop to drugs or eradicating drugs from our country. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Tomorrow we're going to bring you another edition of our weekly engagement. So thank you so much. My name is Morrison Dassin Jr. and it's how I close up the curtain for today's edition. Thank you ever so much.
Some of your breadwinners sitting home, government said no job. You're fed up with the hard living. Just to survive, some of your inner in the street baking.